Rob Pizzola is joining us right now on the Toyota of Hollywood hotline. Rob's a professional sports gambler from Canada. You can follow him on Twitter at Rob Pizzola. Comes to us courtesy of BetStamp. BetStamp compares odds at dozens of sports books and automatically shows you where to bet, so you can always get the best odds and save money. Download the BetStamp app today. I have to sneeze.
Don't sneeze. Ew. You just nasty.
Come on.
I felt that coming, really at the end of the hurricane shot.
Look at him again. Mute your muter.
I think I might be allergic to Canadians.
You leave Rob alone. I got Rob's back, Hawk. You done read me hot today.
Rob also has the Hammer Betting Network. If you're interested in sports gambling, make sure you follow them on Twitter at TheHammerHQ, or you could visit the website thehammer.bet. Hello, Rob.
Hello, Mark.
They have hurricane shutters up in Canada anywhere?
You know what? They probably do on
Maybe
the
on the East
Coast.
Coast?
Yeah. Northeast Canada, they tend to get hit like the remnants of the hurricanes. But no, where I'm at, we don't have hurricane season here.
All right. Well, if you start to get one, let me know. I got a plug.
I heard you. I mean, it sounded very sincere.
If the hurricanes make their way to central Canada.
Yeah, I'm just saying things are changing.
Global warming, you never
Changing at
know,
an
right?
awful quick pace.
Yeah.
What's the natural disaster that Canadians are most afraid of?
I mean, we get like tornadoes, not to the extent of the F4s and F5s or whatever, but I had a tornado in my area a couple years back. Throws around some lawn chairs outside and some stuff like that. Not devastating, but yeah, we get some stuff.
Other than that, though, no earthquakes.
What Western Canada, Vancouver, they're on the same fault line as California, right? That goes down there, so they could potentially get them out there, but no, nothing. Where I'm at, it's pretty safe. We just get a lot of snow.
Sounds
snow
like you got things pretty good in Toronto, huh?
Wow.
It's pretty.
Put it on the old list.
Solid. Yep.
Toronto's nice.
It's nice. Mark
I could live
enjoyed
in
the
Toronto.
city. Yeah.
I could live in Toronto.
Yes, I
that's
could
a great
too.
city. All right, let's get right into it. Panthers tonight. Panthers in Ottawa. Where's Ottawa? Is that the West Coast?
No, it's in Ontario. Ottawa's the capital city of Canada, for those that don't know.
Yeah.
And it's northern, it's about 4 hours north of Toronto, where I'm at right now. But it's very
due north of Toronto?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Did either of you guys know that?
Yeah, man. I know all my Canada facts.
Just look at all those books in the background
Calgary's
that Crowder's
out
got there. He's got
Calgary's out
Thank
west.
you, Rob.
Right?
Yes.
Hawk makes fun of my books. Rob appreciates all my books.
It's
and
like
my
a
deep
1930s
reading.
library in there. He doesn't even have a TV monitor.
It really is. It's like scenes out of Harry Potter over there.
You know what it reminds me of? It's like the old who's the guy got the funny affect when he talks? It's a Saturday Night Live skit, and it's Christopher Walken.
Mm-hmm.
And he's wearing like a velvet robe, and I forget what that, but that's the room that Christopher Walken would be in.
It's not, man. This is a well thought, smart person's library. Look at all this.
But
good
it's not
stuff.
good for a radio. Like I'm watching the Masters right now. I'm guessing you've got it up on a monitor somewhere, Rob.
I got on the TV in front of me here.
Yeah. So do I. Yeah, I'm watching the Masters. I had Tiger over 72 today, so that ticket cashed.
Yep.
But I've got and I was telling Crowder and Solana it was a terrible way to start my Masters viewing because I love Tiger, but I was fist pumping bogeys, and I realized, what am I doing here? But I cashed that ticket. But I have Phil Mickelson over 74.5, and that one's going to end up being a loser.
Yeah, I have Phil Mickelson to miss the cut as well. I'm kind of surprised that he's hanging in there today.
Right?
But it's golf, man.
Yeah.
Sports.
Golf,
Very
sport.
unpredictable.
All right.
Hey, a quick one just about golf general, Rob.
Yep.
The pros, cons, the differences in betting an individual sport against a team sport.
Okay, so one of the advantages to betting golf is you can bet long shots every single week, right? Like when you're betting team sports on a daily basis, you're never going to get odds of 50-1 on a given event or 100-1 on someone to win. There's obviously, it's completely different in its handicapping, especially now that we have like two different tours. You have the PGA, you have the LIV. the stats on the Live Tour, how do you compare those to the PGA players, creates like this whole element of a challenge where that wouldn't happen in any other pro league. It's always the same teams playing against each other within the same league. So, I mean, it's kind of the same thing. You're always just looking for value, but I like the challenge of golf. The only thing is, from pure betting perspective, when you're betting like these outrights, could be extremely frustrating, right? You might hit one winner all year in golf and you make money. But some people cannot go through the grind of like losing after losing every single week. Whereas when you're betting these daily sports, NBA, MLB, NHL, it's very unlikely that you're going to go weeks not winning a bet unless you're Mark, of course.
I was just about to say, how dare you?
Finger up.
How dare you insult me that way? I can go week. I was at the Marlins game yesterday. I took the day off yesterday. I was at the Marlins game. And I again, ruined a day. So I bet no score in the first inning, and Jorge Soler hits a ding dong in the first inning. So now I got to stand up and clap, but I'm not. What am I really clapping for? I didn't want any scores in the first inning. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll chase this. What did I bet? I think I had Marlins -1.5 through 5. I think I live bet it, or through 5.5. And of course, they were only up by the 1 run up until the 8th inning when they went on a little offensive spurt.
I have a money-making idea for you. I think you should jot down everything betting related that goes through your head. Just write it in a journal and document it for a year, and then just sell it as how not to bet on sports.
But how about my Tiger over today, huh?
I mean, listen, you broken clock, right twice a day, right? Like, it's going to happen.
I don't want to bring up my FAU bracket.
This is exactly like I bet no run first inning, they scored. So of course I got to try to win all my money back right away. Like that's just the absolute.
You think that's a flawed theorem?
Yeah, I think that's probably not a good idea. Especially if like you're really upset about that loss, as some people get, trying to win that money back right away, it's just going to lead to bad decisions.
Rob, what if you have a client like Hawk that's going to sit and argue with you? How do you deal with that? Because he's going to argue with you no matter what you say.
He's a one of a kind. I don't really know how to deal with Hawk, to be honest with you. He was putting me on the spot last week, trying to get me to apologize to him, and after a few minutes, I'm just like, I'll just give him a half apology, so maybe he'll drop this and we can move on.
Okay, it's
and
not
I was,
just me.
And I was
That's
very
what
satisfied with it, even though I knew it was half-hearted. Like, I won. My nephews were with me. They were betting the no runs first inning. They call it a nerfie. Is that a typical gambling term? So
it is. Now, I will say this. Typically, nerfies are very bad bets and have been for a long time. Now the market's starting to like catch up on this, but it did become this thing on gambling Twitter last year where it's like nerfy, everyone's going nuts with betting the no run first inning. Typically you actually want to bet yes run first inning more often than not. That's where the value lies, not in every single game, but yeah, just a lesson for those out there. You're almost never going to find a good price on no run first inning.
Now that doesn't mean that no run first inning doesn't cash, but you're looking for the numerical advantage.
Correct. Like if you played every no run first inning over the course of the year and you put, let's say, $1 on every single one, you'd be down $200 by the end of the year. Almost every season.
You got to pick the right ones.
Oh, see, I tell you.
You got to pick the right one. I'm not getting every nerfy available.
You go to the Yerfie, the yes run first inning. I don't know if people call it that, but I'm calling it that.
My nephews do. My nephews call it a Yerfie.
Okay, there we go. So I thought I coined it, but I guess not. It's already out there.
But you bet the Yerfie more than the nerfy?
I bet Yerfies, yeah. I often do. Pretty consistently. I wait till the lineups come out, typically speaking, because you don't want to have, Mike Trout out for the Angels and you bet yes run first inning and you lose one of the best batters in baseball. So typically wait for lineups. And if you get the starting lineups there, I'm not saying it's always the case, but there tends to be value. And part of the reason why is because everybody bets the nerfies. So, you contrarian in sports betting, you tend to find value.
Interesting. What about Panthers tonight? So Panthers are hosting Ottawa and Solana's favorite Kachuk, Brady. Panthers are fairly big favorite tonight. Well, they were -240, I think, when I looked.
Mm-hmm. I like the Panthers on the puck line tonight, -1.5, +100 or better. I mean, Florida's on a run. I think the last loss they had was actually to Ottawa, but that game, they killed Ottawa in that game. Like, I think they outshot them 50-25 in terms of shot attempts. Actual shots on goal weren't that staggering, but everything went Florida's favor in that game, and they just couldn't get the win. And that happens. Alex Lyon in net again. He's been playing really well. 4 starts in a row now. Really. Now, I don't think this is going to last, but Paul Maurice wants to ride the hot hand. I guess you ride the hot hand until it.
Would you ride him all the way into the playoffs? Like, what if this presents itself? Because Sergei Bobrovsky is, I mean, Alex Lyon is not even their backup, and he's playing great goalie right now. Would you ride him? I mean, you know more about hockey than we do. Will a manager ride them all the way into the playoffs?
So goalies are voodoo in hockey, right? Like, Alex Lyon is a career very poor goalie who's playing well right now. Personally, what I would do if I was Paul Maurice, I would continue to start Lyon, but as soon as he has that bad game, you go back to Bobrovsky and you ride Bobrovsky from there, and you don't really go back to Lyon at any point. But right now, you can't argue with the way that he's playing. They get Ottawa tonight. Ottawa's cooked. They're not officially eliminated, but they basically are with what needs to happen for them to get in. They're going to like a 5th string goalie for Ottawa tonight. Levi Merilainen. This guy is like, he wasn't even on the radar to start the year. Like, they're really in the dredges of goaltending, and they're doing it without their 2 best D-men, Thomas Chabot, Jacob Chychrun, who they acquired at the deadline, are both out. So I like Florida tonight. I think it's a little bit underpriced, and they're playing good hockey as of late. So lay the puck line -1.5, as long as you can get +100 or better.
But you think if Alex Lyon closes out the season as hot as he's looked right now, he's your goalie playoff game number 1?
I saw Maurice's last press conference, and basically the way that he talked about it, it did seem that way.
Wow.
I mean, he kind of threw Bobrovsky under the bus underhandedly by just like, hey, we need a guy that makes saves, and right now this guy's making saves, so we're going to go with it. But, I mean, it's tough. They don't have good goaltending all around, so I don't have any problem with riding the hot hand. If they had a true number 1, then you definitely don't do something like this. But honestly, I don't hate the move. I think you go with Lyon now. He's playing really well.
All right, how about the Heat game tonight? Heat and Sixers tonight in Philly. Last I look, Heat were 2-point dogs.
I played the Miami Heat now at a different number. So I played Miami at +3.5 today. I don't know that I would play +2 because we're at a situation now where I'm guessing at what's going to happen in this game tonight, because we have Bam Adebayo has been upgraded to probable. He's very likely to play. The 76ers have Tyrese Maxey, DeAnthony Melton, PJ Tucker, all listed as questionable. The game basically doesn't matter for the 76ers other than maybe Joel Embiid MVP. But even then, Embiid has such a history with injuries. Like, how much do they want to push this guy in meaningless games at the end of the year? So I'm purely handicapping this game from a motivational perspective, right? The Heat want it. The Heat would much rather face the Sixers in the playoffs than the Celtics. I think even if you go back to last year, first round of the playoffs. And on top of that, the Heat can drop playoff positioning as well, which they don't want to do. So it is an important game for Miami from a motivational perspective. For Philadelphia, it honestly means nothing. So you're going to offer me Miami as an underdog in a game where it actually matters against Philly where it doesn't. I'm probably going to take that every single time with the motivated team. There's nothing more to that. Like, that's just the pure handicap of the game for me. It matters for one team. It doesn't for the other. Give me the underdog. So I'll probably still bet the Heat +2 or on the money line +120 as well.
All right. Very nice. What about the Masters? Anything left to bet, or are all your bets in, or you have anything for tomorrow or Saturday or Sunday?
Yeah, so this is going to shape up to be a very interesting weekend. And the reason I say so is today was a beautiful day. The weather is going to turn for the worse tomorrow. And it's especially going to turn for the worse in the afternoon rounds. So guys who tee off in the morning tomorrow are going to have an inherent advantage in that they're playing in better conditions. The 2 guys that stand out to me that have morning tee times that are in the mix, or I think can be in the mix, are Brooks Koepka and Jason Day. Brooks Koepka, the guy's an enigma. He's had a horrible year on LIV. Finally won last week, And now it's another major, and the guy finds himself in contention again. I think he can put up a low score tomorrow. And all these other guys at the top of the leaderboard are going off in the afternoon. It's going to get windy, rain expected. You might get some delays. So I think that's really going to throw things off. If you're looking for a live bet, Brooks Koepka, Jason Day, the two guys I would target purely because of where they're teeing off in the morning. But this leaderboard is amazing right now. And honestly, I'm just rooting for it to be like this going into Sunday, where we have a bunch of guys at the top, because I think that will make for an unreal finish this week.
We have a couple guys on this show that don't like Brooks Koepka.
Neither do I.
I don't know if you saw what he did with Aaron Ekblad the other night up in the Panthers suite. I believe anyone should be able to criticize any athlete at any time, even if you're a professional athlete. Solana and Crowder do not.
I guess I'm in the middle. I'll be the Canadian voice of reason, where it's like, I don't need to go to one extreme or the other. Depends on the manner in which you do it. I'll put it that way.
Is Aaron Ekblad a traffic cone?
I wouldn't say he's a traffic cone. That's not when we typically use pylon when we're talking.
Really?
Yeah, because it's a hockey reference. You use pylons in practice, right? You don't.
I don't know. Do you?
Yeah, you do. You skate around the pylons, but so okay, you actually have to fill me in on this though.
Brooks Koepka was at the Panthers game the other. He's a big Panthers fan.
Okay,
and he was holding up an orange traffic cone, and then people were taping him on social media. He was screaming at Aaron Ekblad, "You're a traffic cone. You suck. And he was hammered as well because he's and he said afterwards, he's like, "Yeah, I'm a big Panthers fan. Aaron Ekblad has stunk this year. I'm at the game with my friends, and I'm having a good time."
Well, okay. It's all very interesting to me. A guy might win the Masters a week after being completely trashed in a Panthers game, calling out Aaron Ekblad. Yeah, I mean, Ekblad has
when you put it that way, it's funnier.
He's not been great, I'll tell you that. I mean, he's definitely not. He's not playing to the level of what they're paying him. I mean, traffic cone, pylon, probably not. There's way worse defensemen than Aaron Ekblad. Like, he's not the reason that they're fighting for a playoff spot right now. But I mean, Brooks Koepka, I've watched the Netflix golf series. Can't remember what it's called. It's not like he's the most endearing person on the planet either. I mean, comes across as very into himself. And if I were a pro athlete and if I was Brooks Koepka and I had an issue with Aaron Ekblad, I'm probably not going to hold up a traffic cone at a game while I'm trashed. Like, I think that's a pretty bad.
But he did double down on it afterwards. Didn't apologize.
It's one thing if somebody comes up to you, you're at the Panthers game. Hey, what do you think, Brooks? What do you think? It's like, Panthers should probably be a little bit better. They should get a little bit more out of Aaron Ekblad this year or whatever. That's one thing. To like that, what he's doing, like with a traffic cone, that's really, like, you're really putting someone down.
Yeah, you're insulting them.
That is a flat out insult and like complete disrespect. And it's not even just about another athlete. That's just like complete disrespect of another human. So, I'm not a big fan of that stuff.
So he's on my side, Hawk. I know what you're doing, Rob. Stay in the middle, Rob, but you're on my side.
But you have to acknowledge it's pretty funny.
It's a little bit funny. Crowder, when he lays it out for you, a guy who might win the Masters a week ago is hammered in a Panthers suite, holding up a traffic cone every time Aaron Ekblad touches the puck.
I love the story that we said we could talk about it, but knowing what it takes to be a professional athlete and knowing how much you hate those rude fans, how can you become a rude fan? Tighten up, Brooks.
All right.
I mean, Brooks has had a horrible year. I mean, he took all this live money, right, to go play on this tour. And until last week, he had a horrible year. You don't see people showing up there and just like berating him on the other professional athletes going to another golf event, because they just had the event in Florida last week, right? Orlando, I think it was.
Yep. Yeah.
Right? Like, you don't have people other pro athletes showing up there and telling Brooks that he sucks. Like, you don't do that. I'm gonna retract my being in the middle, and I'm on Crowder's side.
Crowder bullied you. I mean, I saw this coming a mile away.
I needed to get all the facts.
Crowder
I needed to get all the facts. That's what I do. I take the data, I analyze it, I make an informed decision.
There
I
you go.
also do that. I get the data and then I massage the facts to whatever case I want to make. But that's me. We all have a different approach.
You
to
would have
life.
made such a good lawyer, Mark. I don't know what you did
No,
with radio.
I think I would have gotten too much joy out of it. You know what I mean? Because I'm a little too smug when I do. I don't think I would have been well liked.
Yeah, you're the guy that shows up in the courtroom and they're like, everyone's like, oh, not this guy.
Oh,
again.
this
Like, we're gonna
guy.
have
What
to
a
deal." Like the
jackass.
judge is like, come on, for real. Like you strapped me with this defense attorney this time. Like, come on. But yeah, that would have been, I mean, you've been much better at that than radio. I can tell you that.
No doubt. No
And
doubt.
Hawk,
And I'm getting tired of beating Crowder at every radio argument too. I probably do need a new challenge.
And this whole attorney thing, what about the speed bump of a damn legal degree, Hawk? How would you do in those classes?
Listen, I BS my way through work.
Now you can just use Chat GPT to get through to graduate. Basically.
Yeah,
you just ask the computer AI, and they'll create your reports for you.
Easy peasy.
It's amazing.
I could pass the bar tomorrow, Crowder.
I used to have to pay.
You be careful. I might.
I used to have to pay one of the smart girls to write my papers. Now we have AI. Boy, these kids are spoiled.
Yep.
All right, Rob Pizzola. Follow him on Twitter at Rob Pizzola. Check out thehammer.bet, and we'll talk with you next week. I just texted you the story about Koepka and Ekblad, so you can familiarize yourself.
Well, I mean,
It's delightful.
Why do I have to read the story now? You guys gave me the.
Well, it's delightful.
Notes.
Maybe you want to. Maybe
I only have so much
deeper.
time in my life. You think I'm going to read this story?
Maybe you want to dig deeper. Maybe you want to dig deeper. We have a new opinion next week.
Bad enough I give you
Panthers
20
tonight.
minutes of my time, Mark, and then you're going to make me read this story on top of it for what? So we can talk about it next
I'll tell you, I'll text you a couple other things I found interesting this morning on Yahoo News. He likes the Panthers tonight on the puck line, -1.5. Likes the Heat getting the points, maybe even a little money line dabble tonight. And watch Koepka and Day tomorrow if you're going to be betting the Masters. Thank you, Rob.
All right, guys. Enjoy the games. Good luck with your bets.
There you go. Rob Pizzola.